Hey guys, it's me ASMR here, and today I'm going to be reading a Kuroo Tetsurou ex-listener. This one is titled My Romantic Ideal. This is actually a series. I didn't just check how many, but there is a Kashi one. I know that there is that, and a Suga one too. I think there's more, I'm not really sure. But this is a series. If you guys want to see the other ones, make sure you tell me that so I can do it. And yeah, that's all I have to say. So without further ado, let's get right on into the video. Your best friend stared at you. He's so far from your romantic ideal. You flip a page in the book that you're reading. What are you talking about, best friend? I'm just gonna keep saying best friend because I don't know what your best friend name is, so. I'm talking about your boyfriend. What about him? I'm saying that he's, pretty far from the guy that you'd imagine that you'd be with. I can't believe that you stayed for him for this long. Just look at your job descriptions. He works at a bar and you work at a cafe. Can't you see the extreme differences in atmosphere? You looked up from the book that you were reading, which contained various recipes on pastries. You were currently researching for new recipes for your job at the cafe that you worked at. Is it that unbelievable? I mean, I'm friends with you, and you work at the same bar that he works at. Your best friend looks back at you. But you always imagined, a comfortable and trustworthy love life, where no one could ever come between you and him. With him, though, I don't really see that happening. Really? I think it's going exactly like my romantic ideal. She looked doubtfully at you. He is the Kuroo Tetsurou YN. Don't you have any idea how popular he is at our workplace? Of course I know. You shrugged your shoulders and went back to your book. What about it? Her mouth opened and closed before she let out an exasperated sigh. Let me just inform you that we've had frequent female visitors who come just for him, not to mention this one lady who's obviously flirting with him. Is that so? You said, tucking back a strand of your hair behind your ear. But Kuroo's, good looking. Shouldn't she at least ask if she was already, or shouldn't she at least have the thought that he was already taken? Like that's gonna give her a reason to give up. If she does it while the supposed girlfriend is away, they wouldn't be found. And she could just steal him away. That's true. Your best friend stared at you with a concern, stared at you as you concentrated on your book, dumbfounded. That's it? What else are you expecting me to say? She lifted her hands up in the air in surrender. I give up, she sighed. Well, besides, I think he has his own problems to worry about. What do you mean? You asked. I'm leaving for my job, your best friend said, ignoring your question. She stood up from her chair, took her things, and left the apartment that you both shared. She looked at you one more time. I'll be sure to give you updates. I don't really think I need them, you said. She rolled her eyes. Sometimes I wonder if you really do love him. You smiled as you heard the door shut behind your friend. Oh, how clueless she was. Time skip. Isn't YN-chan uneasy that you're working this kind of environment? Yaku asked. Kuroo slid the drink that he had prepared towards a customer on the bar. Why do you ask? Kuroo, has YN-chan ever come here? She has once. What are you getting at? Wait, she has, once in a while. What are you getting at? Kai laughed. I think what Yaku's trying to say isn't YN, uneasy that you're working in this kind of environment with all the lady customers? Kuroo raised an eyebrow. There's a lot of male customers too, aren't there? Flocking around, not that many. Or flocking around you, not that many, Yaku said. If that's what you're talking about, then she hasn't mentioned anything. Your best friend joined the conversation as she straightened out her uniform. Honestly, I like to believe that she hasn't mentioned anything because her best friend is here to make sure this guy doesn't cheat on her. Kuroo grinned. You wound me, best friend, or your best friend name. Why would you ever think I would do such a thing? Right, your best friend said doubtfully. I'm still watching you. You're always free to watch me and my good looks. She groaned. You infuriate me, your best friend said as she looked at Yaku and Kai. I can't believe you two have tolerated his behavior for this long. Believe me, I didn't at first, Yaku said. They were always on the complete opposites of the scale whenever it came to anything, Kai explained. So there's no chance that maybe Yaku could whisk my dear YN-chan away from this scheming hooligan? Your best friend pointed at Kuroo. Because you have different tastes. YN-chan is the exception, Yaku said as he gulped down the last of his drink. Hey, watch it, Kuroo said. As a friend, I don't even want to deal with you. Yaku laughed. Relax, Kuroo, she's just a friend. Your best friend snapped her fingers. So much for that. Kuroo's high school volleyball teammates laughed. Well, I need to go, Kai said. Still need to get up early for work tomorrow. I also have to go, Yaku said. Thanks for the drinks, Kuroo. See you again sometime. Feel free to drop by, Kuroo said. Almost immediately, your best friend could feel a lot of eyes staring at the now vacant seats in front of Kuroo. However, when they had saw the one person walk up to the counter, the stairs disappear with a few murmurs of disappointment. Great, your best friend thought. Here she is again. She distanced herself away from Kuroo as she went to serve her own set of customers, all the while watching them from the corner of her eye. It had started friendly when she ordered her drink and Kuroo prepared it as usual. Then their conversation turns to be jokes and flirty remarks. Kuroo would then go prepare a drink for another customer when the lady would talk to him again. This give and take continues until it led to the point where their bodies were leaning closer to each other. As their speeches became softer, with loud music, your best friend can understand that they lean in so close that they can hear each other. But what she didn't like was how the lady's fingers were touching his tie and his chin. Heck, your best friend wasn't even the girlfriend, but she was becoming furious with Kuroo. Kuroo wasn't going to do anything about the situation. She wasn't just going to let this go. Kuroo felt the lady's fingers become closer to... Kuroo felt the lady's fingers bring up his face closer to hers. She whispered, Your shift ends soon, doesn't it? Maybe you'd want to go out with me sometime after this. Somewhere, she said as she softly slid her finger down his neck. More private. Kuroo had his signature smile on. I've told you, I already have a girlfriend. She doesn't have to know. It can be our little secret. So, what do you say? She leaned in closer, the distance between them... She leaned in closer to the distance as she watched Kuroo's smile widen. She smiles. Sorry, Kuroo said. I'm not going to treat her that way. I have no intentions of leaving her or betraying her. He distanced himself, and she grasped his uniform before he could leave. Wait, she said. You're going to turn away from an opportunity like me for her? Exactly, Kuroo answered and turned away to serve some other customers while all she could do was sit there shocked. The lady regained herself and made a decision. There was no way she was going to give up that easily. Kuroo was still a guy. There was no way that he could resist her seductions. She stayed where she was, waiting for the time where his shift would end. Took your time to get your ass to work, your best friend said. It's been an hour and you're just busy flirting. Or it's rush hour and you're busy flirting. Kuroo shrugged his shoulder at her attitude. I don't know why you're so hostile towards me when I'm dating your best friend. That's exactly why I'm hostile towards you, because you're dating my best friend. The time continues to pass and your best friend and Kuroo are too busy preparing drinks and orders to notice. When rush hour dwindles down, it's only then that your best friend notices the change of atmosphere. A lot of guys murmured to each other as they stared in the corner of the room. What's going on? Your best friend said to no one in particular as she tried to get an idea of what was happening. She only saw one guy walking up to a lady, but she didn't seem to see who it was. Kuroo visibly relaxed, already knowing the reason for it. Although he looked annoyed, he also looked relaxed. My shift's over, isn't it? Your best friend glanced at the clock and then nodded. Yeah, it ended 30 minutes ago, so you're more than free to go. I'll be okay by myself. Great, I'll get going then. After changing out of his uniform, Kuroo makes his way to the dining area. The commotion is still there, surrounding you. You are wearing a skirt that reached mid-thigh and black stockings with a couple of your favorite colored blouses. It was a simple get-up, but somehow you were able to look so alluring. He slowly approached your table, and the chair across from you was already occupied with someone you didn't know. Come on, the guy said. Just one drink. You were completely uninterested. Well, as you can see, I already have a drink in front of me. I meant have another one with me. The guy winked. You rolled your eyes at that. I can't do that. I'm waiting for my boyfriend. Then he's a jerk. You should have been alone. You shouldn't have been alone for more than an hour if he's still not here. I don't really mind. It was fun watching him when he worked at the bar. That answer turned heads from both of the males and females alike. You couldn't possibly be mentioning him, were you? Besides, I didn't tell him that I was waiting for him because I wanted to surprise him. Well, surprise me you did. Wait, sorry, the wrong voice. Well, surprise me you did. A familiar deep voice said from behind the table. You watched as the stranger in front of you looked up to see Kuroo. You knew he was having an internal battle for what he should do. Kuroo, on the other hand, was speaking to him with his eyes, telling him to leave. When he had got it from his chair, he retreated. The only time you looked at Kuroo. Your boyfriend was clad in a plain white t-shirt, black leather jacket, and jeans. You always wondered how simple clothes could make him look so appealing. You smiled widely. Here I thought you were going to extend your overtime. Out of the goodness of my soul, I didn't want to see my girlfriend's best friend deal with the throngs of ordering by herself. He dramatically said. You giggled at that. Besides, why should I extend my overtime when I know you're waiting for me? I'm surprised you noticed with all these people around me. Kuroo grinned. Believe me, I didn't notice until there was an order for your favorite drink. And only a few people ordered that, so shall we get going? With a wide smile, you stood up and took your place beside him. Before exiting the bar, there were a few looks of shock and frustration looking your way. Your best friend had shifted her weight onto one of her feet. Her arms were crossed, and watching in amusement as the lady that had been flirting with Kuroo was looking at you furiously. Time skip. So, why the surprise visit? You rarely go there. The both of you were sitting outside of his apartment, watching the stars. His apartment was close to his workplace since your visit was so sudden. That was the only place that he could go to at this time. You leaned your head on his shoulder. My best friend mentioned something about how there's always so many female customers flirting with you. So you went there because you were jealous? Kuroo said with a smirk. Nope. You answered. I just figured I would help my best friend out by decreasing the number of female customers. In short, because my boyfriend was causing her stress, I felt responsible to lessen it. In short, you were jealous. You held onto his arm a bit tighter and looked at him. Well, I do admit that I was a bit uneasy when she had mentioned that all the lady customers were obviously flirting with you, and I wanted to see, what she looked like, but I was sure that I could trust you. Kuroo turned his head at you and looked at you. Well, you connected your lips with his, cutting him off. You pulled away slowly. Thank you. His eyes were wide open at the sudden kiss. You're okay, right? You're not sick, are you? I'm sure I only had one drink, so I'm not that drunk. You laughed at his reaction. I'm fine. Why would you think otherwise? Well, you never really initiate things like this. You took his hand and intertwined your fingers with his. I'm fine, really. I'm more than okay. Then what happened? I was there when that lady was flirting with you, when she had pulled you closer to her. I honestly thought you were gonna let her kiss you. Worse, you would kiss her too. Besides, that thing that she suggested. How did you know what we were talking about? Kuroo cut in. I could read lips, That's why when you said to her that that's why when you said that to her, I was extremely happy. Your face let out a smile that was radiating exactly how you felt. I love you. I really, really love you, Kuroo. Kuroo's grip on your hand tightened, feeling everything that you felt. A surge of happiness captured him. He captured your lips in a longer, more passionate kiss, hoping that you'd know that he felt the same way about you. When he had noticed that you were at the bar earlier, he was worried about the looks that men were giving you, but he was relieved when you had paid no attention to them at all, and didn't even bother to entertain them. If your best friend is going to ask if you were still living your romantic ideal, you'd answer the same thing. You were living it, with Kuroo, and she had seen it all for herself. No one was ever going to be able to force their way between you ever again. Stop it. Oh my god, shit, Kuroo, what's good? I don't even like Kuroo, because as I said, I see him more of that best friend kind of be, I guess, but low-key, okay, Kuroo, I see you. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, make sure you tap the notification bell and subscribe so you can get notified every single time I post a video. Also tap the like button because it is something for the YouTube algorithm, and comment down below some other characters you want me to read, and if I don't do your request right away, please don't be mad. I have a lot of requests I have to do. So yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Have a fantastic night. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.